Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money Channel. So the acting controller of the currency, Michael Hsu, sees less urgency in crypto regulations after the spring market collapse. We've been talking about these regulations and, how the United States has to get it right and how, it feels like they feel like they need to get it right, obviously, because this is kind of a one-shot Charlie deal. Well, Michael Hsu is saying, there's not too much urgency right now because currently we are in a bear market. If I just bring up the chart real quickly here, not going to perseverate on prices or trend action or anything like that. We haven't really seen much activity for about 2 months now, actually 2.5 months, almost 3 months now. This is Bitcoin on the daily, and Bitcoin is still trading at, in that range right now at 19,300. XRP, in the meantime, is trading at about 33 cents. But we've just been ranging in this zone. Some analysts are predicting that it could get a lot worse before it gets a lot better. And, some are suggesting that this isn't even the top of the bubble, that we are going to see one more final leg up before the rug is ultimately pulled on everybody, and everybody who hasn't been paying attention loses all their money. But back to this, though. So Michael Hsu, so he's the acting controller of the currency. He's saying, there's no urgency here. We did get a little bit of information the other day with regards to cryptocurrency policy in the United States. The deadline was supposed to be the day after Labor Day, the Tuesday. And so acting controller of the currency, Michael Hsu, the current head of one of the U.S. federal banking regulatory agencies, told a gathering of bankers in New York that he sees the collapse of the digital asset market prices as granting regulators more time to get it right. So, because we saw, such a downturn in the market here, let me bring up the total market real quickly here. Getting rid of that, and actually I was just about to put that back on. Let's put a fresh one on here. Total market down about 68%. Even at its low, it's down about 74%. And he's saying because we haven't really seen that recovery, we haven't seen the optimism come back, this is actually granting more regulators more time to get this regulation right. He says the industry was growing extremely rapidly, and there was a lot of intense curiosity and questions. The Terra Luna collapse occurred, sparked contagion in the markets, and in the aftermath of the collapse, the amount of interest the regulator had seen in digital assets from the banking industry began to cool. Hsu said that an interagency regulatory process to create broader ground rules for banks to interact with cryptocurrencies remains active, but at a slower pace. So they're taking their time with this. Clearly, at least as far as they're concerned, there's no time to rush in with clear-cut regulatory clarity because nobody is really interested in crypto. And by nobody, in quotes, I mean retail. And retail is really the ones who they want to rein in. The general roadmap is the same, but now there's a lot more breathing space to get it right, he said. If it can be safe, sound, and fair, it will happen, and we want it to happen, but it's got to be there, and for those that are in the industry, there's got to be a lot of red flags for what is going on. He also said that crypto is a very hype-driven thing. So that is the current sentiment. I mean, retail has generally, sparked crypto FOMO, and this is what makes it go viral for, a set period of time. Prices go up. Everybody and their grandmother gets really interested in buying cryptocurrency. They buy cryptocurrency, they buy at all-time high, and then the prices plummet, and then everybody is underwater. But, if you're in the crypto space like you guys are, listening to cryptocurrency videos in a bear market, this is when people really can thrive. And so this is the general sentiment, even in government. We're not getting clear crypto rules fast, because they are seeing it as not necessarily a pressing issue, at least not according to the current acting controller of the currency, Michael Hsu. We also have this guy's from XRP Crypto Wolf. The SEC still sees most digital assets as securities. So until we can get beyond this is also another point that I think we need to address. We're really not going to get any meaningful regulatory clarity from the SEC either. Gary Gensler, chairman of the SEC, is not changing his mind on crypto enforcement, citing prepared remarks for a speech tomorrow. Barron's report that Gensler is continuing to consider most crypto assets to be securities and crypto trading platforms to be security exchanges. This would obligate both issuers and exchanges to register with the SEC, which the industry has been reluctant to do. So this is all kind of boiling on the back burner, and Gary Gensler not relenting. even though there's a lot of evidence to suggest that the SEC needs to back off, and this is why the Ripple SEC case is going to be such a landmark event for cryptocurrency as a whole, not just for Ripple, not just for XRP hodlers, although I do think we are the ones that are likely going to benefit the most from this. We see our coin get the clarity. That is going to be the cryptocurrency that all the money pours into first. So I think, once this gets settled, there's going to be a very, very quick spike, an inciting incident that is going to get money flowing into XRP. Who knows how high it'll go off that FOMO? Who knows who's been paying attention to this? It could be that all the haters, the once haters in the crypto space who hated on XRP, might just do a complete 180 and realize, oh wait, they've got clearance, they've got guidance, they've got clarity. Maybe I should take the money out of my crap coin and pump it into XRP. And so that could really give a boost to XRP price in the short term. Anyway, here's a quote. Some in the crypto industry have called for greater guidance with respect to crypto tokens. This is Barron's quote from Gensler's speech. Not liking the message isn't the same thing as not receiving it. So Gary Gensler not budging on his stance with regards to cryptocurrency adoption, and whether, said cryptocurrency is a security or not. Part of that problem has to do with centralization, and I found this tweet from Real XRP Boy here on Twitter. He brings up this very, very good point. Now, this was an interview with Hester Peirce from about a year ago. But it isn't the interview that I really want to focus on, although I will leave this in the description, and if you guys want to watch the interview, you can. What Real XRP Boy points out here is that what Hester Peirce says does not reflect the views of the SEC, but holy zerps, Gary Gensler, you guys got to take a step back. Hester Peirce is being interviewed here by Neha Narula, okay? And just to give you guys a sense of her resume, Narula is the director of the Digital Currency Initiative, a part of the MIT Media Lab focusing on cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology, while completing a PhD in computer science at MIT. So she has a PhD in computer science from MIT, one of the most prestigious universities in the United States. She built fast, scalable, distributed systems and databases. So this kind of stuff is right up her alley. Guess what else? She's also a member of the World Economic Forum's Global Futures Council on blockchain and has given a TED Talk on the future of money. So she also has a WEF tie here as well. And just the beginning part of this interview, like the first 20 seconds, listen to what she has to say
on what that means, but I don't even know that I'm able to really put a finger on it. And I'm curious how you and other regulators are thinking about this term and what it means, and how are we going to use it to properly regulate?
The term she's talking about is decentralization, and Real XRP Boy also points this out. There's a major separation of logic when a world-renowned computer scientist has difficulty defining decentralization and what is a decentralized blockchain versus a centralized blockchain. How does that shift? When does that move over? It's not so clear-cut, and so this is why I think the SEC is having their work cut out for them in court. Ripple's lawyers obviously pummeling them with the true facts. The fact that the XRPL has just become more decentralized over time. Even David Schwartz stated it this week. This is from at RippleXDev. So this is the official RippleX developer Twitter account. The writing on the wall was clear. The XRP ledger was designed to be open, decentralized, secure, fast, and only becomes more decentralized over time. This is David Schwartz on his inspiration for building the XRPL. And so I'll link this tweet in the description. Lots is going on at the Apex Dev Summit over there in Las Vegas. So we've got David Schwartz saying the XRPL becoming more decentralized over time. We have Narula here saying, she's a computer scientist from MIT, and she still can't really put her finger on what makes a blockchain completely decentralized or not. Meanwhile, the real projects that are actually solving problems are continuing to develop. This one from Cryptic Poet here on Twitter. And one of my favorite altcoins, Algorand protocol upgrade introduces state proofs for trustless cross-chain communication and 5 times faster performance. So the guys that are solving problems, the developers working on the blockchains that are going to change the future, are doing it, continuing to build, continuing to add value to these particular blockchains. So Algorand, they just today announced a major upgrade to its protocol. Now live on mainnet, the upgrade features state proofs that enables trustless cross-chain communication, an increased performance of 5x, bringing it from 1,200 to 6,000 transactions per second, and new tools to streamline development and introduce on-chain randomness capabilities for dApps. These features solidify Algorand as a leading Layer 1 blockchain for real-world Web3 applications, ranging from sports sports to music to CBDCs and DeFi. So Algorand is another one of those blockchains that is really going to run the gamut. And so, this is why I think the World Economic Forum sees value in these particular coins. State proofs are an interoperability standard that securely connects blockchains to the outer world without trust in an intermediary. Blockchain ecosystems are like cities, with each one providing value that draws people to visit. As the blockchain industry matures, people will have more reasons to visit different ecosystems, driving more value into cross-chain applications. But to access your source blockchain in new ecosystems, you need a reliable way to verify its state, a snapshot of account balances and transactions in each new environment. And so this is why Algorand is updating this. With today's release, Algorand proves once again that decentralization does not need to come at a cost of performance or security. This coming from the co-founder, Silvio Micali. Interoperability between blockchains is the future, and Algorand state proofs are a critical security feature for communication between networks. We are extremely proud of this innovation and believe it will push the entire blockchain landscape forward. So Algorand continuing to develop, adding more value to its chain. Wanted to thank the Cryptic Poet for that. And Wheezy at Nerd Nation Unbox, just speculating in this new report, some of the facts we do know about the Federal Reserve and Ripple. Okay, so back in June of 2015, it was well documented that Ripple, who was represented by Ryan Zagone at the time, was a committee member of the Federal Reserve's Faster Payments Task Force. Months prior, Aaron Wright had proposed Ripple to the Fed, and if you guys don't remember, I did play this particular video in one of the videos I did over the last month or so. Listen to the first clip here, introducing Ripple to the Fed years ago when they were still in their infancy.
In part because I got into this so early, I proposed back to the Fed and a bunch of researchers there back in like 2014 or 15. Pretty much like people didn't call it that at the time, but like a permission blockchain for central bank digital currencies. They came to a group of researchers and said, if we hypothetically wanted to digitize the dollar, what would that look like? What we said is, look, you can start with a permission blockchain. It can be, pan jurisdiction, so it's not just for the US dollar, but for a whole bunch of other currencies. So you get that interoperability, right? You get things like we see on Ripple, et cetera.
So this was proposed to the Fed way back when, 2014, 2015, whenever that was. Now, Wheezy at Nerd Nation Unbox continues here. Ken Montgomery was the Federal Reserve's payment security strategy leader and COO of the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston. Now, here we have just highlighting Ryan Zagone from Ripple. Again, this is from the Faster Payments Task Force participant roster. And Ken Montgomery, in this document here, it says the task force has been a useful forum for bringing all voices to the table to discuss the very real and challenging security threats we face in the payment system. This, again, coming from Ken Montgomery of the Federal Reserve. He's actually the Federal Reserve's payment security strategy leader and chief operating officer of the Federal Reserve Bank in Boston. The quote goes on. It says, this transition recognizes the intensity of the task force work effort over the last 3 years and provides greater flexibility for large numbers of stakeholders to continue participating in our improvement efforts. So again, Ryan Zagone from Ripple, part of the task force, Ken Montgomery, part of the Fed's, the Boston division of the Federal Reserve Bank. Clearly, they had a line of communication. In 2017, Ryan Zagone submitted a report to the FPTF showing the benefits of using Ripple, and in March of 2018, the Faster Payments Task Force concluded its efforts. And so there's a document here just kind of outlining what that was. The proposer was Ripple, the Faster Payments QIAT, and it is a 146-page document here that I will link in the description of the video for you guys to read if you are interested in knowing in detail what was going on there. But let me just read you a little bit of the final assessment just down here. Summary description of solution. Ripple uses distributed financial technology and open protocol called Interledger. By the way, this is from 2017, so still early days, to enable cross-border payments using direct two-way messaging between financial institutions that join its network. The solution enables payers to see the total cost of the payment prior to authorization and settles transactions between FIs in real time, 24/7, 365 days a year. It does so through several components, and then it kind of outlines how that would work. Of course, liquidity for cross-border transactions between institutions was highlighted in this. This was, by the way, before ODL came into play. That idea came later, and those partnerships and that whole thing developed later. Ripple has helped establish provider-run governance body to maintain a scheme that contains commercial rules, technical standards for execution of interbank transactions over Ripple technology. Outside the scheme, providers need to establish bilateral agreements with every counterparty. Within the scheme, providers integrate Ripple and adopt the scheme's framework to enable interoperability with other providers participating in the scheme. So a very detailed outline of how Ripple could benefit the financial system in the United States specifically, all the way back as early as 2014, 2015, and then Ripple finally proposed their findings back in 2017, early 2017, as a matter of fact. So some interesting pieces of the puzzle being put together here by Wheezy at Nerd Nation Unbox. And so fast forward to today, 2022, now we've got Michael Barr, ladies and gentlemen, the Vice President of the Federal Reserve System of the United States of America. Michael Barr, who also happens to be on Ripple's board, or used to be on Ripple's board, talking about incumbents abusing regulation to stifle U.S. innovation. Interesting that this just recently came out. Listen to this.
You don't want to choke off innovation, and particularly with regulation, sometimes incumbents will use regulation to block new entrants into the system. So you want to be very careful that you're not kind of locking in the power of the dinosaurs. So innovation is absolutely critical, but for innovation to be successful, it needs guardrails. And those guardrails have to be clear, and they have to protect consumers, and they have to protect the safety of the financial system.
The financial system has to be protected. There needs to be guardrails. However, the incumbent banking system is being protected, and therefore new innovation, i.e. RippleNet, is being suppressed in the United States. It sounds as though that is what Michael Barr is saying. So, despite the fact that back in 2014 and 2015, Ryan Zagone approached the Federal Reserve, they were on the Faster Payments Task Force back at that time, and they were able to basically have a line of communication with each other. Ripple did propose this to the Fed, and now, today we've got the Fed starting with their new Fed Now program that's really going to be released in 2023, or really going to be, utilized at scale in 2023, leveraging Volente, which is RippleNet technology. But we have the legacy banking sector. We also have Gary Gensler, his twin banker brother over there at TD Bank, and all the things ETHgate that get the XRP community scratching their head. I think the picture is becoming clearer and clearer, and I think Michael Barr really hits the nail on the head here. The incumbents are abusing regulation to stifle U.S. innovation. I gotta thank Stéphane Hubert for bringing us this clip. But what do you guys think? I think he's right on track, but I want to hear your comments. Please subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.